I mean, I think it's fair to say there's kind of a narrative here, right? You're coming in against Mackenzie Dern, who's this, you know, undefeated prospect. She's the one that I think we can agree like has more of the attention.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely the opponent. Yeah, we all know.
And how do you deal with that? Like, it seems like you're fine with it, but does that mean a chip on your shoulder coming into this one?
No, I think, you know, I'm the opponent. I've been fighting combat sports for 15 years, so I've been the underdog a lot and actually perform better when I have an easier opponent in my eyes, and I know 10 times out of 10 I should beat. It, you know, doesn't gratify the win as much, and it, you know, the training's not as great. So having to be the opponent and coming into the other side, you know, coming into her hometown, and I don't even know if it's her hometown, but coming in here to her home country, and you know, it's not a surprise to me. It's something I'm really excited for, and you know, another obstacle, another opportunity to come on top.
And as far as MMA goes, like, you haven't really fought outside of I think it was only one fight that was outside of the U.S.
Yeah, I fought in Ireland.
Yeah, but now you're coming into Brazil against Mackenzie. Do you, people talk a lot about the crowd here, right? You probably heard the stories about the Uva Boy.
Yeah, I know that. I've been there. I've been in Brazil watching fights, and I've heard it. So, you know, it's something that, like, I'll take care of beforehand. I'll visualize it. I know that it could happen. I know that probably will happen. Yeah. I visualize it. I visualize getting booed. Yeah. That way, when it happens, I'm not like, what's happening? Why don't they love me? Because, you know, in my last fight, I was in my hometown. And no, I'm on the other side. So I know the crowd in Brazil is going to be crazy. And that, like, excites me. Whether it's good or bad, I think it's, you know, great to fight in such a loving of martial arts country. You know, they all love it. They're excited no matter what. So whether it's good or bad energy out there, I'm just going to take energy and fight with it.
Do you think that maybe the fact that she has so much of the attention, like, this is a situation in which the pressure is really more on her than on you?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you know, the UFC's trying to build her up. She's fighting every 2 months, and they're definitely trying to build her up and make her the star. So there's got to be pressure, I'm sure. Some people perform better under pressure, some people don't. I don't know how she is, because you're fighting, you know, she just feels like she's fighting too soon, too much, too often, and now she's got to fight in her hometown and put on a show. That's what she has to. I've seen interviews. She's like, "Oh, I gotta, you know, get a submission for the Brazilian fans," and that's just. I wouldn't want to go out there like that. I'd want to just go out there and perform the best of my ability, and that's what I'm gonna do.
You've talked about this, that you had your eye on her for a while, that you wanted this fight, that you've been watching her fights. And I think that's true for a lot of people, because she had that target on her back from the very beginning, right? And you, on the other hand, like, for her to keep up with everyone else, it's a little harder. Well, you had the chance to really watch and follow everything. Do you think that that's an advantage to you, that you've really seen a lot of what she can do up there?
I think so. You know, when I get fights, I watch the fights with my coaches for a few weeks, and then just drop it off, and then do me in my fight camp. But because I've been watching her since before Invicta, and you know, my friend had fought her back in the day, so I've been watching her for a while. I know that she was a big name. I knew her from jiu-jitsu. I do think it's an advantage. Her striking, her style is the same every fight, so I'm not expecting a crazy different. I'm preparing for it, but it's definitely an advantage. She doesn't even know who I am. She thinks I'm a boxer, and yeah, I did start with boxing, but that's not who I am. So I think, you know, and I just think it's a big advantage to have been watching her and know her style and know what she's going to do.
While we're on that subject, like, you've been very candid about the flaws that you see in her game, and I think we've all really watched her grow as a fighter and evolve, and we also got to see a lot of her shortcomings as well, because everything's been so public, right? For you, like, what do you see? You were talking about, I think, her striking and everything else. Like, just break her down for me. What do you think are her weakest and her strongest? We all knew, but what do you think are her weakest spots, really?
Just the same predictable strikes, throwing really hard, and that's, to me, shows from all the years of striking, all the years of people I've met, all the fights I've seen. The really hard, aggressive is the lack of knowledge in the sport. Like, she doesn't know what she's doing striking. She thinks, like, I'm going to throw this big punch and then I'm going to set up a takedown. And I've just been doing it too long. It seems so easy and so predictable. You know, she's got a tiny bit of judo, not great wrestling, and great jiu-jitsu, you know. No, I'm not going to take that away from her. She definitely does well with it. I've seen some of the fights she's had where I didn't think she's done as well as she should have. I give her props for trying to stand up as much as she has, because like I've seen her in interviews before say that she's supposed to dominate on the ground, so she's trying to work her stand up and get better at it. So a lot of people wouldn't test themselves like that, but it just shows a very opponent that has a lot of holes for me.
But then for you specifically, she's saying like she wants to submit you. Like
Oh,
she kind of
yeah.
changed her tune a little bit.
Of course she does, yeah.
And so how do you pay attention to that noise, and how do you take that, like that affirmation coming from her?
I would even know that before I heard it from her,
Yeah.
My losses are to submission.
Yeah.
It makes sense. She's a jiu-jitsu girl. She wants to take me down. I've got awesome stand-up and awesome wrestling. Like, I don't think she would want it any other way. So I wasn't shocked when duh, that makes sense. You would be dumb if you didn't want that. So yeah, I knew that she would plan for that, and obviously it's an easy thing to train.
And how was your preparation for that, knowing that she's gonna be looking to explore that bit? How do you prepare for her? How was that part of just camp focused toward, making sure that doesn't happen?
Right. Well, I can't fill in the entire holes of her jiu-jitsu. In a 2-month camp, I can't fill in the holes of the jiu-jitsu. So I'm always only focusing on not getting taken down, getting out of bad positions, being aggressive with my ground and pound.
Yeah.
I've always been known for that. Is just I had a striking coach back in the day that used to beat the shit out of me from ground and pound. So he kind of taught me those ways, and every person I train with is just like they're overwhelmed with the ground and pound. So I'm getting out of positions. I'm attacking I'm throwing a lot of ground and pound. Jiu-jitsu people don't like to be punched on the ground, and striking. And I'm working on. Because she comes so heavy at me, working on going backwards with my strikes and cutting angles, and just doing the best that I can. And this is something I'm a striker. I love punching. I love to, taking people or getting people away from me and punching them. So it's something I've been working on doing my whole career. It's not just for this two months, but definitely heavily this fight camp. That's what I've been working on.
And there's a reason why you wanted to fight Mackenzie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel if you beat her? What do you think that does for your career?
Yeah, when I beat her, it's going to take me to the top. I mean, I'm being a 6-0 rising star. All the people that are behind her, all the people that want to believe in this crazy Mackenzie Dern hype, they're going to be fans of me. And if they're not going to be fans of me, they're going to be watching me because I'm the girl that beat her. And that's why I wanted that fight. It's not a win-win for me. Oh, if you lose, it's just Mackenzie Dern. That's not in my head. I'm going to win this fight, and it's going to bring me to the top, and that's where I need to go. I need to beat high-level people to get to high-level fights, and it's going to progress me a lot faster.
You say when. Do you visualize how you're going to end this fight?
Absolutely, yes. I visualize everything. I'm a big visualization person. I visualize every part of the fight. I visualize me in bad positions and getting out of them. I visualize me knocking her out. I visualize me breaking her nose. This is something that I've done from the start, and it's done well for me.
But how do you see it ending?
I see it ending in my visualization. I'm finishing in the second round.